Can I get to another move? Please, Clodsire! Ugh! Man's letting me down. Okay. I think there's still a chance, though. Again, we had to just survive the Shadow Claw damage. Foul mechanics, yeah. Oh! Mana Buzz. You beast. What a beast. Shout out Pokegains for the Mana Buzz. Hey everyone, I hope the new season is treating you well. There were a few changes, I would say, to the meta. I wouldn't say this one was as big of a change as the last meta shift, but that's okay. There's enough shakeup to actually make certain things more viable, things that you've never seen before probably in competitive PvP. One of those being Feraligatr. I had to give it a shot myself. I have a terrible IV spread Shadow Feraligatr that hits like 1477 CP, but it was still worth making. And I think it's going to be a lot better than the non-shadow variant, so definitely something worth looking into if you haven't built one yet. I ran the team of Clodsire, Shadow Feraligatr, and Mandibuzz to start off the season. And I had over a 70% win rate, which is pretty nice to kick things off. I faced some really tough opponents, and this was my last 15 battles running this team. Let's kick it off and see how the battles went. Before we get into the battles, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you'd like private one-on-one coaching, scrims against me, some of my league guides and strategies ahead of time, or even tune into my live stream battles, feel free to sign up through the Patreon link down below. One key thing to note is that I am running the Poison Sting Sludge Bomb variant of Clodsire, mainly for a better matchup against the fairies, against the grass as well, things that are pretty strong to my backline. Of course, this is not going to be as good into Gligar and maybe some of the other flyers, but overall, I think I have okay Gligar checks in the back, so I shouldn't be too bad into it. We face off against a Lanturn lead, which is definitely good for my Clodsire. My opponent does shield too, so I'm gonna just let this go as well because I know I can survive another Moonblast. Might hit the shield a potential Grass Knots, which is a little unfortunate, but this just gives the opponent a little bit less farm as well. And then they come in with a Talonflame, which is pretty good for me because Feraligatr's pacing's pretty fast. And so they go for the Flame Charge, which is fine. And Feraligatr wins Charge Attack priority against most things. So I'm just going to double up on the Hydro Cannons. They shield once, and it's not going to go so well for them because the second one's coming in quick, and it's going to one-shot the Talonflame. At this point in time, it is not looking great for my opponent right here. I don't have energy on my Clodsire, so that is one thing to note. But I have a little bit of energy, I guess. One Earthquake should do it. They need maybe 3 or 4 Surfs. I'm not sure, but they need quite a bit. So this should be pretty good overall. I just have to watch out for a potential catch, and looks like here it comes. Unfortunately, just not enough, not able to pull it off. And then now we get the Dark Pulse off too. This just ensures victory, but we have the Earthquake ready, and I know that I survive a Surf either way. Clodsire is pretty bulky, or actually I don't know if I survive a Surf, but I didn't have the energy for a Surf, so ends up working out. Yeah. Another reason why to run Clodsire, I guess Tropius if you have Stone Edge is fine too, but Sludge Bomb at least has the same type of attack bonus, which is kind of nice. And this is a Razor Leaf Tropius, so definitely a lot worse for my Feraligatr. Obviously, Mandibuzz is going to do great here, but I just need to stay in, maintain alignment. Usually, a lot of people that use fast attack pressure teams tend to have a lot of fast attack pressure Pokemon in the back, so alignment is pretty important. Seems like they actually have Gligar instead, which it's pretty good for me because Mandibuzz not only beats Gligar, but it also beats Tropius, so they can't really even come in very easily back with their lead Pokemon. They might, but it's not going to be easy for them. I would say Mandibuzz is probably the best counter to Gligar that's using neutral attacks. I can't really think of any other Pokemon that does outside of, Pokemon like water types, ice types, whatever, but they're using super effective attacks, right, against the Gligar. Mandibuzz just has such a dominant matchup into Gligar that there's really no way they could flip switch, even if they're ahead a little bit on energy. Looks like this opponent is going to come in Tentacruel, which is kind of interesting. You don't see this very often. Definitely a pretty spicy team overall outside of the Gligar. I'm just going to charge up a decent amount of energy. I know I survive a Scald either way, so I should be okay. And we're going to try to build up to an Ice Beam. Ice Beam will definitely one-shot the Tropius. They actually come back in with the Tropius right away, so we have almost back-to-back Sludge Bomb ready, which should be pretty good. And yeah, we have another one. So this is going to be really, really nice for me. At this point in time, if I take out the Tropius, I just need to put the Tentacruel in Hydro Cannon range, which shouldn't be too hard to do, I think. Yeah, we do get to this final Sludge Bomb, which is nice. I avoid a lot of that super effective Razor Leaf damage. And then, yeah, Tentacruel. Unfortunately, I could not get to another move, but Hydro Cannon hits hard for resisted. Yeah, and you can see taking out the Tentacruel there too with the Hydro Cannon. Really nice. All right, so we go Clodsire into Shadow Dragonair. This is kind of a weird matchup. Nothing really beats this Shadow Dragonair consistently, but what I like to do is throw a Sludge Bomb, either grab a shield or wear them down. I bring in Mana Buzz. I don't typically safe swap Mana Buzz, but the thing is, because they didn't actually throw a move, I should be okay. They actually counter swap into the Empoleon, which is a great catch by them for sure. And they still have a lot of energy on the Dragonair, so this is going to be a little bit dicey for sure. All right, they build to a Hydro Cannon. Do we get to a Dark Pulse? We do, so that's very nice. If they shield, that puts me in a pretty good spot, but they actually no shield, and they come back in with the Dragonair. And I'm just coming Clodsire, draw some of his energy away, because it's going to do a decent amount to the Feraligatr as well. Wow, what's up, Cran? Let me readjust her a little bit, get her more comfortable. Feraligatr is definitely not the most comfortable matchup for my team either. Mana Buzz is definitely the counter for it, but we don't really have much health left on the Mana Buzz. I have the Mirror matchup, but I'm a little behind energy. Trying to potentially catch a Hydro Cannon, unfortunately not able to. So this is looking a little tough. The Dragonair has a decent amount of energy remaining too. Maybe I try to go for a catch. That could be potentially be a play. 2, 3. No, not able to. A little unfortunate. And then they have the energy remaining. So this Dragonair is going to take me out. Like I said, Dragonair is a little bit annoying for the team. There's nothing that really hard loses to it, but nothing really beats it either consistently. Mana Buzz can potentially outbulk though. All right, we have a Wigglytuff in the lead, and they counter swap Bastiodon into Clodsire. Something I would never recommend as someone that uses Bastiodon, but then again, not really sure what they would do with Wigglytuff either. So, but yeah, they're just gonna leave after this one, I believe. Yeah, here they go. So not the best matchup. Clodsire does catch quite a few of those Bastiodon Wigglytuff teams off guard, even Shadow Victreebel. So it's actually quite nice in a meta where that is a pretty common composition that you see quite a bit. I always build up to Stone Edge before I throw the Sludge Bomb in case they potentially shield, which always usually grabs a shield. You always have to grab a shield back though whenever in this situation, because the Fly does a ton of damage, especially when boosted. But then they come in Shadow Dragonair. I'm going to shield again, just because I feel like it's still worth it. I have a ton of energy on this Feraligatr. If they no shield this resisted Hydro Cannon, it still does a ton of damage. And we get the full farm down, which is huge. Yeah, I don't know if they come in with the Talonflame again. Looks like they actually come in Whiscash, which is kind of nice, because I get the alignment I want. And also, I get 2 Hydro Cannons off. Yeah, shout out Feraligatr. Like I said, my PPIVs on this one is pretty bad, but still gets the job done. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. The pacing is super fast, and the Hydro Cannon just hits so hard. All right, at this point, I don't even really care if they catch a move on their Talonflame. They don't, but now they come in Talonflame, and we just have the Sludge Bomb. We're just going to chip away at this Talonflame. They can't really bank too much energy because they risk getting hit by another one. So they're going to throw their energy at this point in time. And we have the Dark Pulse. I mean, I probably could have drawn Aerial Ace as well, but just want the first sure knockouts. Whiscash, not much juice left in tank. So we lost one battle there, but overall, not too bad. 4-1 to kick things off in this first set. Going into this next set, another Wigglytuff lead. Fantastic for the Clodsire. They come in Lickitung, which is really, really good. I'm going to go for a potential Earthquake. I actually bait with a Sludge Bomb. Just want to make sure I win this back-end matchup. I mean, typically Mana Buzz wins it pretty hard anyway. But if I could grab a shield at the same time, even better. So now, not only do I have Switch advantage, I have Shield advantage. and they have a Wigglytuff, so they really can't really wiggle their way out of this Clodsire matchup. I think my goal here is just take out this Lickitung as fast as possible. If they want to aggressively swap back over to Lickitung because Twitch timers are misaligned, that's fine with me, because then I just lock them into Clodsire, and that's not a fun time for any Wigglytuff users. Okay, so let's see how this goes. We throw another Dark Pulse. There should be enough to knock out the Lickitung. Of course, they come in something else, but they do come in with the Wigglytuff, which is pretty good for me. I'm going to give a little chip damage before I get knocked out. And then here comes a Greninja, which actually is kind of a core breaker. But the thing with Greninja is it's got to throw Night Slash, and that's actually a decent amount of damage for neutral Night Slash. But the Hydro Cannon is really hurt, and the Shadow Claws do too. I mean, that's where Shadow Feraligatr really excels, right? Just even the non-stab Shadow Claw damage is kind of nutty. They get the attack boost, they throw a move, but they can't Water Short Keeping down even with attack boost, and they just can't get to enough moves in time. I have a ton of energy and health, but just, yeah, not enough to take him out. Going against my buddy Wildcat Dad, one of the co-hosts of the BTW podcast. Comes in with a Hakamo, also a Pokemon that got buffed, obviously the Empoleon as well. I'm just going to potentially double shield just to get off this Ice Beam. I really want to get it off, or grab both shields. Getting both shields here is very crucial for me, because it allows me to potentially land an Earthquake on the Empoleon, which is nice. So I've kind of cleared the way for Clodsire to do a decent amount of damage to this Empoleon. Goes to the Brick Break to lower my defense. I think that's fine too. But overall, Clodsire just outbulks at this point in time, so it's going to do really, really nicely, even down energy into this Hakamo. And he has Steel Wing. He doesn't have Waterfall, so I can stay in and take a few Steel Wings, no problem. And you can see Earthquake doing a ton of damage. I have no idea what he has in the back yet, but I think Mana Buzz is pretty much okay overall. And it's going to be a Goodra, so this is going to be pretty good for my Mana Buzz. Goodra's probably just going to throw Aqua Tail. Draco Meteor would definitely be a choice, but that was a little too fast for it. I'm just going to shield the Aqua Tail either way, because, yeah, if I shield this, we should be in a pretty good spot. And then, now, yeah, the Goodra's very, very low. Might be able to even snarl this down. Let's see. Yeah, I'm actually going to come in with the Clodsire just to get a little bit of energy. Not enough to get to a Sludge Bomb, but Mandy is going to finish it off. So keeping it still pretty close, though, all things considered. But yeah, we go into a Azumarill lead. So the key thing here is you want to avoid the Hydro Pump. Anything besides the Hydro Pump, you can tank at least one. I typically swap out and try to catch an Ice Beam eventually if they're throwing straight Ice Beam. They're throwing this on Hydro Pump energy, so it could be Hydro Pump, ends up being Ice Beam. That's okay. At this point in time, I should be able to grab a Shields, and typically I'd like to try to catch an Ice Beam. I think I let this one go. Yeah, I guess I let this one go. And if I don't land, if they shield again, then I probably swap. If they don't shield, yeah, they shield again. So now I'm going to try to catch an Ice Beam. And here we go. We get it. They pretty much have to throw this Ice Beam, because if they don't, they get hit by a Sludge Bomb. So it kind of forces their hand. And here we draw out what we want to draw out, which is a Charger Bug. So we get the Charger Bug out of the way, which would be super nice. And I have the Mana Buzz. Unfortunately, my Clodsire has not too much health left. So I think I actually come in Mana Buzz, and they blind throw a move. Good chances of Exeter, which is fantastic for me. So anytime they blind throw, that's going to be really, really good. I'm going to shield, though. This is going to be discharged, going to do a decent chunk of damage. There's still the Azumarill on the back, so I have to watch out for that. They come in Azumarill, but we get a Snipe. We get a semi-combo play with the Clodsire to take them off guard. And now they have Lickitung. This is fantastic for the Mana Buzz. I have a decent amount of energy. I am down a little bit of health, but you're going to see just how dominant of a matchup Mana Buzz is into Lickitung. I've been preaching Mana Buzz for a hot second, and honestly, it's still really good in this meta too. Still beats Gligar, still beats Lickitung, still beats Whiscash, still beats Annihilate. But on top of that, it beats the Feraligatr now, because Feraligatr is all running Shadow Claw. And all that resist damage is really going nowhere against Mana Buzz. Ice Beam, Hydro Cannon do kind of hurt though, but Mana Buzz, typically speaking, at least in even shields, should take that matchup. So another reason to run that Flying Umbreon. Whiscash in the lead, not good for me. But I'm going to swap right out, and then they have a Shadow Poliwrath. So they really, or non-Shadow Poliwrath, I should say. But they really have no respect for grass types, which honestly in this current meta, I don't blame them. But yeah, ABA Water with double weak to grass in the lead. Pretty wild stuff. But it's a gamble, and it may pay off. We do draw the Poliwrath, which is kind of nice. Poliwrath is making a slight resurgence in the meta because of Feraligatr usage. And Poliwrath was actually particularly good into Mana Buzz, which is why Mana Buzz wasn't as good in previous earlier last season meta, but it's much better now. Alright, they haven't swapped out yet, so this could be... Let's see what happens. Oh, yeah. Okay, so they have a Skelders in the back. Interesting that they swapped out here. I probably would have maybe came in Skelders into the Clodsire later, but this is pretty good for me. I definitely want to shield up my Mana Buzz. The Incinerate damage is starting to add up for sure, but we are doing a decent amount of damage with the Mana Buzz as well. Let's see what happens here. I think I'm still debuffed, right? Was I debuffed on the Skull? I think I was. But still plenty of damage. I think my main goal here is I want to put the Whiscash in Earthquake range, and that should be good. Unfortunately, not able to get to one last move. Earthquake really needs to do it for me to have a chance. We get one Earthquake off. So let's see if this puts it in... Ooh, not quite enough. Clodsire needs to hang on. Skull's going to do a lot of damage, but Clodsire's pretty bulky. So, able to finish it off for sure. But yeah, Clodsire's definitely been really clutch for this team, especially in that lead scenario. Has a lot of play against a lot of things outside of the occasional Gligar. But we haven't seen a lot of Gligar leads at least. Okay, they have Feraligatr in the back as well. So this is a slight problem for me. Because they're up a Shadow Claw, so I'm in a little bit of trouble, but I think my play is farm up as much energy as possible, try to take them out or force their shields, and then come in Mana Buzz. So they're going to throw their Hydro Cannon. It's going to put them energy dry for sure, but at least I avoid the Feraligatr versus Clodsire matchup. Now, this is not great for me. They come in Vigoroth, so they pivot out. I have my Clodsire for sure, but I'm a little worried that they're also pretty strong into Mana Buzz in the back, because Feraligatr and Mana Buzz, or and Vigoroth, I should say, isn't that great. Vigoroth's probably a little bit more neutral into the Mana Buzz, which makes you think that their last Pokemon is something that beats the Mana Buzz. So that being said, let's see what happens. For some reason, I have no idea why they didn't throw the Hydro Cannon. Maybe they miscounted. I'm pretty sure they had Hydro Cannon at that point in time, and it turns out they have a Shadow Dragonair. So this is actually really good for me. I probably should have thrown the Sludge Bomb, but because I'm not going to charge attack priority later. However, I don't think they have time to bank up a move anyway, so I should be a-okay. And if they do, well, if they take on Mana Buzz, oh, I'm just trolling hardcore. I don't throw the Sludge Bomb, and I have the arrows. I don't throw it, but they have no energy at this point. I have the Sludge Bomb, so it ended up working out, but a little bit sloppy of a play, at least in the second half on my end. But here we go. We go another 5-0. Fantastic so far with this team. That was to help me hit rank 16. And then we're going for a little extra here. Next 5 battles. I had 70 wins in my first 100 battles. So a clean 70% win rate. Like I said, the winning don't stop there. Shadow Victreebel. Something I noticed too is a lot of Shadow Victreebel. They probably have Bastiodon on the back. Wigglytuff. Something like that. Most people will probably bring Wigglytuff in this situation. They actually have Skarmory. So this actually threw me off a little bit. Most people with Shadow Victreebel have a lot of fast tech pressure team, but it looks like this opponent is actually running Skarmory, so a little bit different for sure. But it's good to see the Skarmory too, because that's actually a much harder check to Clodsire than Victreebel is, and Victreebel's not really even a check, to be honest. But so we draw this out, which makes me think the third Pokemon is also a little bit weak to Clodsire, otherwise they would have just straight out swapped. So I'm able to get rid of their hardest and most reliable counter to Clodsire is what I'm thinking at this point in time. And we come away with a huge chunk of energy. I'm going to throw the Hydro Cannon. Probably gets shielded. Yeah, it gets shielded, which is fantastic for me. And then they have Lickitung. Yeah, so Lickitung, not a true Clodsire answer, so it makes sense why they stayed in originally. But this just means my Clodsire has a ton of play right now. I'm not going to shield anything here. I think my play is potentially to put this in Shadow Claw range or build this with double Hydro Cannon, which is another solid play. It's kind of awkward if I shield at this point in time, in my opinion. I kind of need energy in my Feraligatr to have any play into this back end matchup. So I'm going to start farming away. They come in with the Victreebel to try to time me down. Unfortunately, not able to. Resist the Hydro Cannon, almost taking him out, but not quite. The Razor Leaf almost finished me off, but I managed to eke through with a few Shadow Calls and get to this final Hydro Cannon. So, really close battle, but end up working out. Shiny Bastiodon, quite nice. Opponent comes in with Shadow Glade. And I get a full Snarl through, which is nice. They throw a Leaf Blade. So this means that I could definitely tank a close combat if they throw one. They throw another Leaf Blade, which is kind of interesting. I guess they're doubling down their baits, unless they're running Synchronoise, which doesn't make too much sense to me. But yeah, really nice. I have a lot of health left on this Mana Buzz. I think at this point in time, we're going to pivot out just because Feraligatr is pretty good into Bastiodon as well, so I might as well draw out whatever they have in the back. Might have caught a move here. Yeah, I ended up catching a Stone Edge, which is really nice. And here's a Shadow Victreebel. So this is something I like to do because the Feraligatr and the Clodsire are both really good into Bastiodon. So anytime you could pivot out, not a bad idea. I'm going to go straight Sludge Bomb. I think Earthquake is going to do more damage, but I just want to get the damage off or potentially grab the final shield. I have a lot of energy on the Mana Buzz. And they just throw a move blindly, which is fine with me. We have the Aerial Ace. We have a shield advantage for Alligator in the back. I mean, scratch that. We got 2 shield advantage. This is not looking good. Maybe a little sloppy me to come in for Alligator for the energy lead. I don't think that's as necessary, all things considered, because the Razor Leaf damage is what's really threatening for my Feraligatr. I have 2 shields. There's no way Bastiodon takes me out there, right? All right. Shadow Alolan Ninetales. Now, if it's Powder Snow, it's not as clean of a matchup, but this one is, as you're going to find out later, is going to be Charm, which is why they swapped out instantly. So I'm going to go for the Earthquake and then Dip just to ensure that I maintain switch advantage, because Vigoroth is not the cleanest matchup for Mana Buzz. I'm pretty content on them hitting me with Rock Slide, though, at this point in time, because it will really reduce the farm they can have. I'm just going to go for the Aerial Ace. I don't know if this is enough. Yeah, it's not, but that's fine, actually, because we get the Snarl down afterward. Pretty good. Yeah, let's see what we can do for this Alolan Ninetales. The reason why I don't want to tank 2 Rock Slide, which I can tank, is because I don't want to get countered down, because they could potentially shield and counter down and then win switch, which is not ideal for me. So I don't want to put myself in that range. All right, Cranberry is just off at this point. That's fine. She's off to go munch on some food, I guess, probably. But, all right, they have a Lanturn in the back. This is really bad for my backline, and not great for my Clodsire, because my Clodsire doesn't have a lot of health left. But I do resist that spark damage. So things are not over for sure. I'm going to overfarm on the. I'm going to bait, I should say, double bait. Get both shields with the Clodsire with the Sludge Bomb bait, which is absolutely huge. I need to land this Earthquake. We get to it. My opponent just leaves. They didn't even see my backline. I don't even know if the Earthquake would have been enough, but I think they had a slight chance. I don't know if it wasn't enough. They had a slight chance, but they just got out. So I'll take it. All right, Skarmory. Not a great matchup for Clodsire, but we do outpace pretty heavily with the Feraligatr. They end up swapping out, and they swap in Annihilate, which is not a counter to Feraligatr. So this is going to be interesting because I should be able to flip switch advantage at this point in time. They are continuing to, try to throw moves, but Feraligatr is so fast, so much damage, and we still have a shield advantage. Like, this is looking amazing for me. And now, yes, they have the Giratina back, so my Clodsire doesn't have a ton of play into what's remaining. I mean, it's okay into Giratina, but I'm just going to come in and start farming away on the Mana Buzz. Anytime I have energy on the Mana Buzz, that should put me in a pretty good spot. Yeah, now I'm going to swap Clodsire, actually. Clodsire is not great into Skarmory, but at this health differential, and I still have a shields, I'm in a really good spot. So I'm going to farm as much as possible just so I could land some moves on this Giratina Origin as well. And not enough to get out, which is actually not too bad because it allows me to get even more farm. Brightbird is going to hurt quite a bit, though. Do we get to Earthquake? We do. Still get the Earthquake. This is going to be massive for me. Yeah, and then we have the Dark Pulse. So, finishing off the Giratina Origin. Something you don't see a ton of, but I mean, it has some play in Open greatly right now. Just not into the Mana Buzz. We face another Skarmory lead, so let's see if we play it out a little differently this time or not. They have a Dragalge, which is actually pretty scary into my team. That fast attack pressure is pretty nasty. And I'm trying to get to the Ice Beam. I don't know if I survive this Aqua Tail, which is why I go for the Shield. I probably could have no Shield and so gotten to it, which is probably a slight misplay by me. But I really want to grab the Shields so that I can land an Earthquake and try to get rid of this thing, because it is going to be a problem for my backline. Mana Buzz definitely has a play in Skarmory, but I have no idea what they have in the back at this point in time. So it's going to be all pretty much on Mana Buzz at this point, because not much health left on the Clodsire. Definitely not enough to handle the Skarmory or whatever they have in the back. I don't switch advantage now. I'm not going to have it later. Alright, and we have Skarmory, and they stay in. So this tells me that they're probably going to be pretty weak to Mana Buzz. I shield in case they go for the Brave Bird and dip, but they actually go for the bait, which allows them to really land the Brave Bird later. So this is putting me in a tough position, because this is probably going to be the Brave Bird, and this is where I'm in trouble. Brave Bird comes through, and they have a Hakamo, which, yes, Mana Buzz is good into, but I just don't have much health left at this point in time. And the Dragon Tail damage, I should say, is adding up for sure. Yeah, this is pretty much going to be over. So, really well put by my opponent there. I think if I shield a Brave Bird, it could have been a little bit closer, but honestly, I don't even know if that's enough. Double Dragon with Dragalge. Pretty interesting stuff. But I go 4-1 again to end off 74 wins out of 105 battles. Just over 70% with this team. Fantastic start to the season. If you need any further convincing, hopefully, there's two things. One, Mana Buzz still the truth, and two, Shout Feraligatr is definitely worth the hype. If you give a team a shot, let me know. But best of luck on your initial climb. Let's get our highest elo we've ever reached this season. Let's shoot for the top. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share. Subscribe for future content. Hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video. And I'll catch you all next time. Peace.